It is October. October the 7th, it looks like. 2022. You're listening to a woman who has no energy because I have been murdered repeatedly by acts of genocide. According to the legal rules, transferring children from one group to another group is an act of genocide. That murder was committed against myself and my son between 2009 and 2012. Now I've had a coven of witches commit an act of genocide against me once again. 2 acts of genocide within a decade. I'm going to tell you and teach you why this is genocide, because I'm a woman who is an expert in the law. I'm also expert in justice. So if those of you who aren't familiar with Scripture, it's prophesied that the righteous understand justice and judgment. It's also prophesied in Scripture, which is my native language, that the wicked are not only useless, and they are, they don't have a clue about anything at any time for any reason. They are blind, they are deaf. They are literally the walking dead. So, because I am hated by this world, I need to set up boundaries almost every time I know I'm going to upload something that I have to say. So, Canada has something that they call the Multiculturalism Act. So they go on and on about the Constitution, which is, okay, whatever. And Canada is a party to international covenants and conventions, one of which is the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, which convention it recognizes that I am equal before the law and entitled to equal protection of the law against any discrimination and against any incitement to discrimination. Canada and all of its public servants are also bound by the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which covenant provides that my peculiar people, we are a linguistic minority, we are not to have our right to enjoy our own culture denied to us, nor are we not supposed to have the right to use our own language. So in the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, Article 5 states that those who pretend to be this fiction that they call public servants, that they call the province of British Columbia, that they call the court, that they call bar members, all of that's crap and fiction. Anyway, according to Article 5, I am supposed to have the right to equal treatment before tribunals and all other organs administering justice, and I can guarantee that that never has happened for me once. I'm also apparently supposed to have the right to security and protection by those who pretend to be the Coven of Corruption, the province of British Columbia, and Canada against violence or bodily harm, whether inflicted by pigs, persons in government, or by any individual group or institution. Again, a right that has never once been afforded to me. According to Article C of this same convention, I have the right to take part in the satanic cult that's acting as government, as well as in the conduct of all public affairs at all levels, and to have equal access to public service. According to Part D, I've got the right to freedom of movement and residence, the right to leave Canada and go back to the kingdom of heaven, which is where I came from. I don't care what that sounds like to you. I'm not here to comfort you in your ignorance, okay? I'm a woman of truth, and you will hear me speak the truth at all material times because that's my native language. I have the right to own property alone. Well, isn't that interesting, since my property's been stolen from me, so a couple of Asian abominations could launder money, and now this thing with the last name Howe, 3-letter last name, more than likely an Asian, is now using my stolen property to make itself money by turning my single-family dwelling into a commercial property. Apparently I have the right to inherit, and yet how is it that everything I have inherited from my spouse has been stolen from me by those who pretend to be public servants? I have the right to freedom of thought and conscience. I have the right to freedom of expression. Now, what it says, the right to freedom of opinion. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't have an opinion. The truth is not an opinion. It never has been and never will be. It's just like facts and the truth have nothing to do with each other. The facts can do and will change. The truth never changes. It's static. It's the same all the time. Apparently I have the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association. Well, isn't that interesting? Because there's nothing peaceful about the public servants who have continually tried to murder me with repeated acts of genocide. And now if you do ever read scripture and you don't know anything about my brother, he prophesied all of this shit would happen to me. And everything he has said is exactly my life. So, despite the fact that I have absolutely no energy at all, I am in, well, let's see, it's a David and Goliath fight, isn't it? It has been my whole life. So I have created some documents here that they can't get around. These humans, legally defined as monsters, they can't get around them because I'm from a foreign jurisdiction. And those from the jurisdiction of above rule over those from below. Now, my brother explained that when he was here, that he had authority here because he's from above, not from below. So what is above has authority over what's below. Now, if you've ever been into the Horse Court of Corruption here in Canada, I don't care what level you're going into, you'll notice that the witch who comes out of the Star Chamber walks up 3 steps and is now lording over those underneath it. Right, okay. Yeah, I don't fucking think so. I tell you what, an animal never has jurisdiction over a woman. It never has had and it never will have jurisdiction over a woman. Okay, Coven of Corruption, who kidnapped my son and sold him to perverts at 8. Okay, the Coven of Corruption, who stole my home, embezzled the entire inheritance from me, in your futile fucking attempt to murder me yet again with your fucking bullshit and your fucking lies. I tell you what, pigs, pukes, and dogs, justice will be served upon all of you. You are not above the law. You never have been. You never will be. You never once had jurisdiction, and I can show you exactly when they lost jurisdiction, if they ever did think that they had jurisdiction, and I'm referring to the kidnapping of my son, my highly marketable son. But right now, what we're going to deal with is this absolute joke trying to pass itself off as a bank, CIBC. It's a criminal organization. Now, I have filled out Form 77 because that's the form of a foreign judgment, because I'm a foreigner. I'm not from here, as I've already explained multiple times. So what you can see here is my status is a non-person because a person is a thing. I'm not a thing. I've never have been a thing. I'm never going to be a thing. I will not have my status lowered to a person or a resident or a citizen or a taxpayer or a driver or any of that fucking witchcraft bullshit that they use to jack you for everything you own or to fucking violently assault you. So the writing style on the top of this document is because this is a common law court where the judge of all people and all humans is the one sitting, and I am trained to sit beside him in judgment. That's what my training is. I'm an expert in law and justice. So I am an applicant on this form, and the defendant is the fiction acting as or pretending to be Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. Now, this matter went before the King of Kings. His eyes are everywhere. His ears are everywhere. He knows exactly what they did to me and why they did it, because I'm his eyes and ears here. So here what we have is, now I'm using my native language, which I just explained is my right to do so. So you go right ahead And you look up Deuteronomy 1:17 and Exodus 18:26, and this is the application of the one that I serve, the King of Kings, and I am special counsel. I'm King's counsel. The woman, myself, KC, obviously. So coming for special appearance before the king, the judge of my people, the peculiar people, and humans. This is October 1st, 2022. And on hearing this matter, the King of Kings and private prosecutor, that's myself, because, like my brother, he prophesied that ones after he was here would come after him. Now he refers to us as the elect. He refers to us as the chosen, and we are the ones who can't be deceived. Again, you can look up those, my native language, and please do. Please study what I have written here. So this is the Common Law High Court. Now the Common Law High Court is the highest court in the world. That court sits above all courts. I don't care if it's the International Criminal Court. I don't care if it's fucking the Manasseh USA Court. I don't care if it's the fucking bullshit Ephraim Commonwealth Court. Sorry, Ephraim, Commonwealth, the UK, right? There's a coven of witches there who own, or think they own, about 7 different countries: Australia, the UK, New Zealand, I think. There's 7 of them, right? That's Ephraim. So this court is above all of that. This is the highest court. So that's why this is referred to the Common Law High Court. So this is a judgment dated October 1st, 2022 of the King of Kings, by which it was adjudicated that non-person, non-resident woman, myself, there's my address, recover from offender and criminal organization CIBC. There's the court file. There's the bullshit petition number that they used to steal everything from me. Non-negotiable, not subject to appeal, sum of $3.7 billion for its acts of indefensible blasphemy. Blasphemy is written in Numbers 5:6 and Matthew 12:32. General, special, statutory, punitive, and aggravated damages against me and my family. Be registered forthwith and lawfully enforced in and by this court, because remember, those animals, those humans acting as whatever they're acting as, the BC court, they have no jurisdiction, and I identify as one of the registrars for the court here, so I'm going to sign this. I'm going to sign it, and I'm going to take it down to 850 Burdett Avenue, and I'm going to put the court stamps all over this, and then I'm going to file it with the BC Securities Commission, because this is a foreign judgment. They have to pay it, and this will also go to the BC Forfeiture Office, because they're going to pay this. You see, I have to set a precedence in Canada. They're stealing houses, mortgage-free houses, multiple times a week in Canada. Now, why is that? Because nobody's doing anything about it. Well, I'm going to do something about it. And like I told you, I'm a woman. I'm not a human. I'm not a female human. So I write a lot of documents, right? So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to click on these links, because all of these links will take you to the truth. All of them will. But what I notice is, now why I use Docdroid is because there is a counter that they use. So every time any of these links are opened, the counter goes up. Now I have had documents looked at. Let's see here. Victoria the Trustee's Right of Survivorship. That document has been opened over 1,000 times. It's been downloaded almost 70 times. Because I need to know that I'm being heard. I need to know that the fear of the King of Kings is being sown into these satanic savages who have once again tried to murder me with their fucking lies and their bullshit, because that's all they got on their side. They haven't even followed any of the fucking legal rules at all. And I didn't write the legal rules, but I'm an expert in them. I have to be. So attention persons acting as the BC Court public servants or in any capacity as federal or provincial public servant. Persons acting as Justice of the Peace for BC Provincial Court, 850 Burdett Avenue, will sign all desk orders required to serve peace, relief, and reparations due to myself and my family, as the living are authority over humans or public servants, which is the same thing. People are not subject to legalities, as legal is the practice of witchcraft, toxic, not applicable to living peculiar people who understand justice and judgment. Now, I do a lot of research because it's my job. If you don't understand, it's my job to help you to understand. So in British Columbia here, or in this RICO corporation trying to pass itself off as a public service agency, which it isn't, a justice of the peace can perform trials, and JPs do not require formal legal education. Well, that's just excellent, because I don't have any legal bullshit to file in that court, right? These are matters of law. The law has been broken, and I don't need some fucking witch with a legal education deciding that they're going to jack me out of my right to justice and reparations, which they've done to me every single time I've done the right thing. But that stops, because I'm not going to put up with it, and neither should you. Because my peace is being disturbed all day, every day, to the point where I can barely move. And I have a lot to do because I'm the only one fighting for me. Well, the king and I are. That's who's with me all the time, by the way. So check this out. Crown Counsel and Defense Counsel. What? Excuse me, what? So you have to understand that those are fictions. There are demons who pretend to be Crown Counsel and Defense Counsel. Defense Counsel is a liar who represents a person. Well, what's a person? A person is a thing. It's a fiction. A fiction can only represent a fiction. What's dead can only represent what's dead. I'm one of the living. I belong to the living. So what jurisdiction would the fucking dead have over one of the living? Well, they don't have any. So, fuck. Crown Counsel are public servants, are they now? Oh, is that right? They don't represent the police or the victim, but represent the community as a whole. Oh, really? Is that right? Okay. Well, that's a bunch of bullshit right there. It really is. So because I'm one of the peculiar people, I'm a targeted woman. So the death penalty is too lenient for crimes gang stalkers commit, because I'm being gang stalked to death. All the peculiar people are. Have you not studied the life of my brother? He was followed around. He was slandered. They were constantly trying to murder him. They were saying things about him that were absolutely utter bullshit. All the time. I put up with that. I have for 50 years. 5 decades. I arrived in 1973, for those of you who are just tuning in to listen to me now. So we're tortured endlessly, both physically and psychologically, and our whole lives destroyed. Yeah, that's right. And by the way, I don't write these memes, okay? But I realize that some of you learn better by visual tools. So I use the visual tools because I'm a teacher. This is what I do. This is what I'm trained to do. I'm trained to teach you. So none of us will ever recover from the horrific traumas we've been through. And that's pretty much it. Time doesn't heal anything that's happened to me. Are you kidding me? I'm never going to get the years back I've lost with my son. He was stolen from me at 5. He was kidnapped at 5. He was sold at 8. He arrived here in 2004. I can never get those years back. Anyway, I can't get into that right now because I don't want to cry. So as prophesied, for those of you who are non-familiar with Scripture, Scripture is what's happening all day, every day. Scripture is yesterday, today, and forever. That's exactly what it is. Your name in your life is written in the Scriptures, just like mine is, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the rivers of living water and the bread of life. That's why you need to get in there. You need to figure out which one you are, because you're either a goat or a sheep. You're either a good fish or a bad fish. You're either a stalk of wheat or you're a weed. There is no in between. You're one of the living or you're one of the dead. So for those of you who don't understand what a Pharisee is a liar. A Pharisee is about one thing and one thing only, and that's money, which is a demon. Money is a demon. And by the way, I'm not about the money, okay? This is not what this is about. This is about sending a message to these witches who pretend to be CIBC and to all the banks in Canada who are stealing every single day. That's all they do all day is steal. Murder, steal, and destroy. That's their claim to fame. That this will not be tolerated. Your behavior, your ugliness will not be tolerated. So as prophesied, repeatedly, right? Have you ever heard me tell you that you need to have 2 or 3 witnesses of the truth to establish the truth? Well, not only in the Old Testament is it established that widows have their homes stolen, but then my brother is here and he's like, listen, in Mark and in Luke, he's like, and in Matthew. Because these Pharisees are demons. They're not people. They're demons. They're male and female monkeys. They're fucking humans, legally defined as monsters. They take away and devour a widow's house. That's exactly what they did to me. Exactly. Okay, now, let's look at this right here. This is something that I created here, just so you understand what the hell's going on here. So in the red box, this is the legal definition of genocide. In the red box, it's the legal definition of an act of genocide. So when they filed the fraudulent, malicious, ridiculous petition to steal my house by way of a fraudulent foreclosure, that's called barratry. It's an act of war. They've come at me with an act of war. But what's even worse is it's blasphemy, because blasphemy is harming another. You know you're doing it, you know what you're doing, and you know why you're doing it. That's blasphemy. You cannot be forgiven for blasphemy. You can't. You're finished. So they've created another act of war against me. They've committed blasphemy because I'm an enemy of... Well, fuck, I'm an enemy of the world, aren't I? I have never gelled with this fucking level of hell, and I'm never going to. I hate being here. But here I am. And so I'll let you read what's in the red box, but below, I've explained that them stealing my house and stealing all of the money from the fraudulent sale of that home, let me explain it to you. Satan's spawn, and that's exactly what they are. Like, no fucking righteous man or woman would ever even begin to think about pulling a fucking stunt like that on somebody else. So I'm not dealing with men and women, I'm dealing with animals. I'm dealing with pests, okay? I'm dealing with spiders and snakes and scorpions. Do you have any respect for spiders, snakes, and scorpions? I fucking certainly hope you don't. I certainly hope you don't. Satan spawn, agents of RICO CIBC, CIBC agents, BC Supreme Court agents, District of Satanic Saanich. They all knew what was happening, including those pigs acting as police, acting as law enforcement. Yeah, right. So everybody I've included in this, guilty of continuous acts of war and genocide against myself. Listen, I know how I am, okay? I am a special prosecutor of foreign jurisdiction. I know I'm a woman. By way of multiple acts of rape, enforced prostitution, intentional sexual violence, forced violent displacement of a grieving widow, intentional wounding their combatant adversary, that's me, declaring no necessaries of life, which you have to do in a war. There's even fucking rules to war if you don't know what they are. You have to follow them. Provided for me, seizing and destroying my untouchable interest private property, employing poisonous, vexatious, frivolous, malicious, without merit, BC Supreme Court petitions, poisonous, fraudulent BC Supreme Court orders, constituting, employing, asphyxiating, noxious gases from mouths of hundreds of compulsive liars involved in the latest act of war, genocide, barratry, and blasphemy to murder, steal from, and destroy, prophet and chosen officer, ambassador for the King of Kings, Common Law High Court of Judgment and Justice. That's exactly the definition of genocide, according to the rules of the world. According to the legal rules of the world, What they have done to me is every single act of war and genocide you could commit against an innocent woman or a man. I happen to be a woman. So let's look at here. Oh, here we go. And now it gets really fucking fun, doesn't it? As it always does. So genocide. These are the legal rules. And remember, this is all written by liars. This is all written by bar members. These are their fucking rules. These are the rules of society in Canada. I didn't write this shit. Where I come from, all of these savages are put to death. Yeah, I'm sorry, that's what happens. That's what happens in a sane fucking society. You don't fucking imprison it for fucking... You realize that they fucking spend $85,000 per puke when they put that thing in jail? Here's another thing I fucking hear in Canada on a pretty fucking regular basis. I hear some fucking idiot say something like, well, the sentence was life in prison. Okay, so did you just get that? The sentence is life in prison. But fucking wait for it. Then what you'll hear is, with the possibility of parole. Well, how the fuck is that life in sentence then? Life sentence. If you're now in the same fucking breath saying, with the possibility of parole. You see, a double-minded monster is unstable in all of its ways. You do not allow fucking animals to rule your society or your communities, and that's exactly what you're allowing to happen. You need to pull your fucking heads out of your fucking asses. You are responsible for what goes on in this country if you live here and you pay taxes and you claim to be a Canadian citizen. Do you understand that? You're culpable. You're aiding and abetting. Bullshit. Because if you're not doing something about it, then you're part of the fucking problem and not part of the fucking solution. Genocide committed in Canada. Every person, okay, so a person is a thing, you get that? Is guilty of an indictable offense. Who commits genocide? A crime against another or a war crime. Conspiracy, attempt, etc. Every person who conspires or attempts to commit is an accessory after the fact in relation to or counsels in relation to an offense referred to in subsection 1, which I just read you, is guilty of an indictable offense. Okay, so here's the punishment. So you understand what they're doing here? So you know how in Scripture you've got the chapter and verse? Well, in the legal bullshit world, they do the same thing, because they're not fucking smart enough to figure out their own system, so they just copy. They copy the truth and then, they do this. So that's what you're going to hear. So punishment. This is now section 2. Every person who commits an offense under subsection 1 or subsection 1.1 shall be sentenced to imprisonment for life. If an intentional murder forms the basis of the offense and is liable to imprisonment for life in any other case. So what the fuck is supposed to happen to every single witch who acted as the BC Supreme Court? What is supposed to happen to every single witch who took part in running that fraudulent foreclosure? What is supposed to happen to them legally? Well, I just explained it to you if you don't understand. We're talking life in prison. Their fucking lives are over. Their lives are over. These are the fucking legal rules of society. They never had jurisdiction, not once. They can't get it. There's a contract in place. Contract is king. You can't get around a contract. My spouse created a trust. That trust trumps their jurisdiction. You can't steal my house and fucking embezzle all the money. But they did it anyway, right? Who fucking cares, right? Okay, so here we go. Here's some more bullshit, legal bullshit. Sentence for genocide in Canada. What's the punishment for a hate crime in Canada? Because you have to understand that what has happened to me is what always happens to me. I've just had another fucking hate crime committed against me. And I'm talking by hundreds of fucking pigs. I've been fucking violently attacked by about 20 fucking pigs acting as Saanich law enforcement. I've recorded most of it. Most of those violent fucking assault hate crimes. So here's the rules of fucking legal society. This is your society, by the way. You better fucking pay attention. So there's no minimum punishment. Section 319, 2, promoting hatred makes it an offense to willfully promote hatred against any identifiable group by making statements other than in private conversation. Okay, so here's what you need to understand. None of those hearings that they ran on me, none of those satanic rituals they ran on me, are private conversations. That is a public fucking courthouse. It's a public fucking venue. It's supposed to be a public fucking service. So none of the shit that happened to me in that whorehouse are private conversations. And every single time I went in there, there was another hate crime committed against me because I wasn't going to let them fucking just come in and steal the house without fucking going in there again and again and again. Oh, you going to do this to me? Well, we're going to make it fucking nice and hard for you, aren't we? Because I'm going to catch all of you fucking witches committing another act of genocide, and then I'm going to fucking have enough strength this time to fucking take you all out. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Because where I come from, the victim of the crime is the prosecutor. We never hand that job over to somebody else. It's not somebody else's job to fucking destroy these witches. It's my job. And I'm very, very good at what I do. If you haven't gathered that by now, let me tell you something that happened when they were fucking murdering my son and I. So there was a witch named Brenda Gash. Now, you understand what a gash is? It's basically a cunt, right? So this witch is named Brenda Gash. No coincidence there. So I've got this witch, right? What the fuck was that thing's name? Michael Kushner. So there's a hearing going on, right? They have no case at all. But they're going to run a 7-day fucking hearing to abduct my son, kidnap my son, keep him in custody long enough that they can find a couple of perverts to buy him at 8 years old. Because that's who's buying an 8-year-old child around here, would be fucking a couple of perverts. So Michael Kushner gets finished questioning me, right? I'm up, I'm now on, the satanic rituals in full fucking bore. So there I am. I'm in the witness box. Michael Kushner gets finished asking me these questions. And fucking Brenda Gash stands up and she says to me, and listen, I was cool as a cucumber. I was calm. I was collected. I answered all the questions like, okay. Because he's not supposed to be there to attack me. He's supposed to be there to make sure that the baby comes home. Because they don't have a fucking case. So I get done with whatever I'm doing. And fucking the cunt gets up, stands up, and she says to me, "Where did you get the authority to talk like that?" Well, I wasn't as swift as I am now then, because you have to understand, this is in 2010, so that's 12 years ago. And at the time, I tell you what, it fucking turned me inside out that she said that to me, because I thought to myself, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, where do I get the authority to talk? Like, what are you talking about? Like, well, you go into the book of Proverbs, and it says in the book of Proverbs that even a fucking witch can understand when there's a woman in authority in that room. And that's exactly what happened to me. Those scripts are being played out every day, all day. You better get into them. So each BC Supreme Court witch who aided and abetted the theft of my house and embezzled the entire inheritance via malicious without jurisdiction public statements, because those public statements are all recorded. And those public statements became fucking court orders. You get that? That's why I'm out of my house. My house that can't be stolen from me. Guilty of promoting hatred and genocide. They're fucked. And they know it. And they know it. So I'm professional pest control. In case you don't know who else I am, I wear a myriad of different hats. A myriad of different hats. I'm a counselor, I'm a healer, I'm a teacher. I'm a physician of value, not a physician of no value. I'm a cook, I'm a baker, I'm a homemaker, I'm a barber. I'm a business owner. I've owned and operated 2 of my own businesses. I put myself through school twice on my own. By the time I was 28, after being severely fucking abused my whole life, I owned and operated my own business. And I was beloved. Beloved in the community that I served. I'm no slouch. You get that? I'm no slouch. I'm here to fucking lead the way. You got that? So a leader shows you what to do. They don't tell you what to do. They show you how it's done. So I'm professional pest control, because that helps improve living standards. If you got a pest in your house, what do? You get rid of it, don't you? Because it's disturbing your peace, is it not? So this is from the Globe and Mail. This is from the Globe and Mail. I hope you're enjoying this, by the way. These aren't fun for me to do. This drains my energy like you have no idea. But I appreciate everybody who listens. I really do. Thank you for listening if you do listen. Canadian bar members, liars, are arrogant abominations. They're literally witches unfit for life, so hate righteous people. How much do you know about Proverbs? How much do you know about the Psalms? Because it's written in there that the wicked hate the righteous and the righteous hate the wicked. That the wicked are after the lives of the righteous. This is not a fucking spiritual battle. You better stop with that fucking Paul bullshit. This is not a fucking spiritual battle. This is a full-on, full-bore war going on here. They want to end my life. They want to end my life. Have you not heard a fucking thing I've said to you? This is not a spiritual fucking battle. This is a full-on, full-fledged fucking war happening here. Weapons and all. You don't think a lie is a weapon? You don't think slander is a weapon? That's why commandment number 9 is no lying, because it's the most outrageous, egregious fucking act of violence you could fucking perform on another individual. So this is the Globe and Mail. No such thing as coincidence, by the way. Lawyers are rats? No, they aren't. Wait, yes they are. Yeah, they fucking are. They're fucking rats, man. Caution, caution, caution. Fucking red alert, red alert. Toxic BC Provincial Court is rat infested. Yeah, fucking rights it is. You don't think I fucking spoke to rats when they were stealing my baby? How much are they selling them for now? I mean, what's it up to? Are we now selling them for what, 50 fucking 60 fucking $70,000 now to Canada's protected fucking perverts? Because that's where most of them are going, by the way. Those who are living a lie need to create a fake family for themselves, so it's a lot cheaper to just go buy one. Yeah, from the Coven. Oh, look, we've got members of the Coven here, the CIBC agents, the CIBC solicitors, and we've got the BC Supreme Court arrogant abominations right there. Look at that. Yep. How much do you know about the scriptures? So after Judas betrayed Jesus, did you read what happened? Did you? Well, go in and read it, if you don't know what happened after he did that. Okay, so this is Exodus 21:28. So injuries to the living might arise either from, well, my people, or from humans. And a human is an animal, a male and female animal. That's why they're sexed male and female. Protection from both was needed in a righteous community. So the law given to Noah had already laid it down that whenever a human murdered, its life was to be forfeit. This law is now reenacted, but with a further and very important proviso. If the human had an owner, and the owner had reason to know that it was dangerous, then not only the beast, but the owner also was to be held guilty. He was to be liable to a process for murder. But, with the consent of the aggrieved family, might pay a sum of money as compensation instead. Now, if those of you who are listening to me, you might have heard me say something the other day. I said that parents are responsible for their branches. Now, when you produce another living soul, another eternal living soul, you are responsible for that living soul. So if that thing turns out to be a piece of shit, and it's going around causing loss, harm, and injury, you're on the hook for that. Now, if you go into the way, the truth, and the life, but the time that thing is 12 or 13, you already know what it is, because it's already shown you what it is. You know a child even by its doing. Go look at that up in the book of Proverbs. So you didn't let that fucking thing fester in the community. You took it outside the community and you got rid of it. Because that thing has already identified itself and it's not going to change. A weed is a weed all fucking day long. A weed doesn't change into a stalk of wheat. A fucking goat doesn't fucking shift into a sheep. That's not how it works. A child of the devil does not become a child of the Most High. Children of the devil are born that way. They're born that way. They come out of the womb fucking speaking lies. For those of you familiar with the book of Psalms. So this is the way, the truth, and the life that I'm teaching you. That's what I'm expert in. I'm expert in the way, the truth, and the life. This is what I do. This is what I'm trained to do. Scripture indicates that when an animal, okay, a human is an animal, is a threat to other people, is a threat to people or other animals, you got to put the fucking thing to death. You don't fucking house it at the cost of $85,000 a fucking year. How fucking sick is that? How fucking stupid is that? What a waste of resources. What a waste of money. What a waste of fucking energy. What the fuck is wrong with you? With these principles in mind, a necessity practice of animal euthanization can be developed. We are to be merciful to animals, and we have the authority to end the lives of animals. So if euthanizing an animal would be a merciful act, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. If we see an animal suffering with no hope of recovery, the most merciful thing we could do is quickly and as painlessly as possible end its life. Where I come from, the murderers are killed. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Where I come from, in the law, there's no way you can clean the land unless you kill the murderer. There's no way to bring that curse off of the land. And yet in the Commonwealth, they absolutely refuse to do what's right because they want to talk about it's got rights, it's got this, it's got... No, it fucking does not. No, it does not. If it had no fear of hell, well, it needs to learn that hell is real, and like immediately. Immediately. That's why the commandment is you do not murder. Murder and killing have nothing to do with each other. Nothing. Murder is unlawful. Killing is lawful. Let me say that again. Murder is unlawful. Killing is lawful. You have to kill to get rid of the curse on the land. You're going to be held accountable for every drop of blood. Yes, I'm afraid so. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the truth, 1 Samuel 15:23, so your rebellion against the truth makes you a witch. Yeppa. Go read Exodus 22:18. Go read it. Because there's multiple times in the way, the truth, and the life that it is a commandment. Commandment to purge the evil from among you. Because rebellion is the trespass of witchcraft. And stubbornness, so that should say arrogance. And arrogance, well, arrogance, oh my God, I mean, what are you doing? You're arrogant? Are you joking? Are you kidding me? It's idolatry. You're putting yourself on a pedestal because you believe that your fucking satanic opinion somehow has some kind of jurisdiction over the truth, which, by the way, it doesn't. All right? That's not the way life works, you fucking animals. Well, this is what we do with witches where I come from. Yeppa, I'm afraid so. That's what happens. Now, this thing in the middle here, this fucking female human, this female monster in the middle here, this thing, I sent it a package of proof that my house was being stolen. Have you read the letter I got back? Did you read it? Because I put it in one of the documents I wrote for you. Did you read it? Yeah, fucking I don't think so, skank. So what you don't understand is, look what they're wearing. Skull and bones, red, white, and black, satanic. What the fuck are they wearing? You see that I mean, I'm going to teach you about that idol on the wall. I'll have to teach you about that idol on the wall, about the whole thing is a bunch of fucking bullshit. That right there, there's a satanic ritual happening right there, and those three witches are about to do something evil. Because there's no way any one of those three could do anything good, being the fact that they're sitting up there on a satanic altar, about to do something fucking evil. Because that's all they know how to do. That's all they know how to do. And you take a look at them. And now if you have eyes that see and ears that hear, you'd be like, whoa, I don't fucking think so. Like, how can those three animals have any jurisdiction? This is why you're being destroyed. You get that, don't you? This is why you're being destroyed. They don't give a flying fuck about you. They don't give a fuck. Who's going to hold them accountable? Who's going to hold them accountable? Because here's what's about to happen now. So let me show you a document I wrote here. So I'm going to pick up everything they did to me, and I'm going to post it on all my social media accounts. So, court record access request form for criminal and civil proceedings. So you fill out this fucking book, because it's all paperwork, right? This is why nothing ever gets done. This is why nothing of value ever gets done, because the fucking circus monkeys sit around all fucking day long, fucking with all this stupid fucking paperwork. What a fucking joke. You can submit this form in person, by mail, or by fax to the court registry where the proceedings took place. Well, you better fucking believe that's going to happen. I'll be down there in person. So this is Section B. Now I've got my name. I've identified myself as King's Counsel. So I'm the victim of genocide for the matters that I'm going to go and pick up. I'm the defendant, the respondent. I'm the counsel of record. I am the accredited media because I identify as media. And I'm special counsel here on special assignment, making special fucking appearance. So there's some information there you don't need to worry about. Section C. Well, here's the numbers. Here's the case name and registry file numbers. I've got them both there. Civil, request unlimited access to court records, exhibits, and audio recordings. Unlimited access. Unlimited access is I, woman of foreign jurisdiction, identify as special prosecutor, King's Counselor, demand all. Yeah, I'm not asking you, I'm fucking telling you. I demand all court records, exhibits, and audio recordings. That's my right. You going to commit an act of genocide against me and you think you're going to fucking get away with it? If I let you get away with that, you're going to keep doing that. To those who live around me, and I ain't having that on my hands. There's no fucking way. So each BC public servant, an actor posing as, because that's what they are, right? Like, are you joking? They fucking give themselves title of justice? What does a fucking animal know about justice? What did one of the Walking Dead know about justice? How much do you know about my brother Daniel? The wicked understand nothing. The wicked understand nothing. And yet these motherfuckers roll up on you all the time and ask you if you understand. Those who don't understand asking me if I understand? Oh, fucking bitch, I don't think so. Oh, yeah, here we got some other witches with titles of fucking nobility. BC Attorney General? Fuck off. Are not above the law. Each person, each thing, because they're things, right? An animal's a thing. Each person guilty will be privately prosecuted pursuant to laws of the living, international covenants and conventions, and rules of society. Each guilty public servant person will be held accountable pursuant to the BC Forfeiture Act via seizure of family and personal chattel. So, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. That's why where I come from, we don't have any crime. Because we're terrified of hurting another. Like, we would just never do something like that. We're righteous men and women. And by the way, righteousness is your clothing. If you start to study heaven and hell, what you're going to notice is everyone in the kingdom of heaven is clothed. Your righteousness is your clothing. It will clothe you. It will cover you. If you start to study hell, which you better fucking start doing, you better listen to me, you're going to notice that they're naked. They're all naked. When you're wicked, you got no covering at all. You're going to be fucking naked down there, and you're not going to fucking believe what's going to happen to you, and it ain't going to stop. It's eternal fucking judgment, written throughout the scriptures. We mean what we say, and we say what we mean, for those of you who don't understand. Section D. Now this is supposed to be for the fucking witch acting as the judge or the master. Well, first of all, the court here in Canada it's fucking Freemasonic, right? A master? A master mason. A master Freemason. A Freemason's a witch. That's exactly what it is. My dad's dad was a Freemason. Evil motherfucker. I used to walk into their house and be so uncomfortable. Like, I'm a little girl, though, so I don't understand who I am at that time. I don't understand that I'm an empath. I don't understand that I'm a sensitive. I don't understand that I have the rarest personality type in the world. I don't understand that I have INFJ blood. Sorry. I have Rh negative blood. I don't understand any of that when I'm a little girl. But I'm walking into their house and it's like cold as ice. Except for my Nana, who's there, and she's a righteous woman, but I used to walk into the house and be so uncomfortable. Like, I didn't know what the hell's going on, but I didn't really want to be there. Because there's no truth, no love. But then I'd go to my mom's mom and dad's house, and you walked through the door, and it was like literally like a warm hug. Like, I wanted to be there. I wanted to be there all the time. Because my papa was there. My papa is a righteous man. And there's a different vibration. The righteous are the living. The wicked are the dead. So even their homes feel off to me. Right? I'm like a raw nerve. I'm uncomfortable all the fucking time. Let's put it to you that way, okay? So there's no fucking way I'm going to give them jurisdiction over that property. All those court recordings, all those exhibits, all of it, that's my property. And if you even fucking think about keeping me away from my property, that's a torture and obstruction of justice. Those are criminal fucking offenses. So I filled this out because I'm special prosecutor. I'm the prosecutor on this. Yes, I am. So I've unlimited access forthwith if you're reading the document. So name a reviewing judge. Well, that would be me, and I was the one who went through all those satanic rituals. Every hearing was a satanic ritual, and I was the sacrifice, and so was the law. That was the sacrifice. And you have the right to hear what was said to me. You have the right to hear how I was spoken to. And that's why the court recordings are so important, because the transcript, you can't get the feeling of the hatred for me out of the trial transcript. You need to hear how I was spoken to. You need to hear how I was disrespected. You need to hear how none of the fucking legal rules were followed at all, to steal my house and embezzle every fucking dollar. And I tell you what, there's about 8 or 9 satanic rituals that were run on me to do what they did to me. And you have the right to hear them because that's a public fucking courthouse. And the public has a right to hear what's happening in the whorehouse. Yep. Access authorized. Yeah, fucking rights it is. Unlimited access, yep. Other terms and conditions. Access to court records and audio recordings regarding the theft of interest private property, embezzlement of my inheritance, then denial of access to justice, peace and reparations, or acts of hate and genocide. This lawful demand will be provided forthwith to I, woman identified as King's Counsel, a foreign jurisdiction, elected private prosecutor, and one of the rare peculiar people. A denial of this demand is the indictable crime of obstruction of justice and torture, along with a fucking myriad of other indictable crimes, as well as violations of international covenants, conventions. Canada is a party to uphold as expected by all members of righteous, right-minded society. Unlimited access authorized, no court application required. Because they'll just fucking keep spinning you. Because a child of the devil has no value. So what a child of the devil does is they orchestrate a game of snakes and ladders where there are no fucking ladders. It's only fucking a game of snakes. You've played snakes and ladders, haven't you? You know what happens when you hit the snake, right? You go right back down to the fucking beginning. I watched them fucking witches in that whorehouse do that to every single individual who was in there to try to seek justice. They got no justice at all. And the witch on the bench put everybody right back to zero, so you got nowhere. Because that's how, billable hours. Billable hours. And the fucking sing-song is always the same. Have you talked to a liar? Do you have a liar? Have you talked to a liar? Well, I don't have any fucking lies to tell, and I'm not incompetent ignorant, so why the fuck would I need to go talk to one of those? And by the way, you're a fucking liar. Are you not? Were you not a fucking member of the bar? Are you not a member of the bar? Because you were a practicing liar in a fucking coven of witches, pretending to be a law office for 10 fucking years before you started on this fucking Masonic bullshit bench. Yeah, so I'm talking to a witch right now. You're one. And you all fucking talk the same language. You all talk the stupidest fucking shit I've ever heard in my life. You got nothing but fecal matter and vomit spewing from that fucking hellhole in your face where a mouth is supposed to be. So don't you be fucking asking me that question. I know more about what's going on here than you ever fucking will. You stupid fucking skank. Naming and shaming the wicked. That's my job. I don't care who the fuck you are or what your fucking claim to fame is. If you're a public fucking servant, you have no rights at all. You have obligations, duties, and responsibilities to follow the fucking rules. And if you don't know them, then you can't be there. Isn't that right? I, woman, rightfully identified as King's Counsel for the King of Kings, the judge of all humans and people. Persons acting as, because that's what they are, right? They're actors. These fucking ridiculous names, that's their mask that they wear. Yeah. What the fuck is that? Person acting as BC Provincial Court Justices, Masters, BC Attorney General, Canadian Bar Association members, court public servants, have no jurisdiction or authority over my peculiar people, therefore have no lawful or legal right to deny this demand for those court recordings and all the material that I'm asking for, of every kind pertaining to acts of genocide, persecution, slander, and hate against my family. Do you, processing this form, understand? There's going to be no delay for this lawful demand. And signature of foreign jurisdiction judge. Because I'm not from here. Like my brother explained when he was here. Now, back 2,000 years ago, that would have sounded nuts, right? And I know it sounds nuts when I say it too. But when he says in the 4 Gospels, right, in one of the Gospels, he makes the claim that I'm from above. Well, like, yeah, right. Like, oh, yeah, okay, you got some proof for that? Well, at that time, he wouldn't be able to say, well, yeah, you can go to your scientists who have discovered that Rh-negative blood has no earthly origin. I'm a man. Like, I'm a man, I'm not a human. Do you get it? That's why throughout the scriptures, you're going to hear the prophets referred to as son of man. We're not human. We're men and women. There's a difference. The two have nothing to do. Okay, so if I put my blood in a petri dish, and then a human put their blood beside my blood in that same petri dish, those two blood types are going to repel each other to the visible eye. You don't need a microscope to see that happening. You can just take a look at what's happening in that petri dish and see the two blood types literally repel each other. That's why I can't take Rh positive blood into my body. That'll be the end of me. The monkey can take my blood. The monkey can take my blood. The human can take my blood, but I can't take the monkey blood. That's why I can't give birth to a monster. My body will automatically abort. Because it doesn't recognize. It's a foreign object. It's like a cancer. I can't give birth to a monster. I'm a woman. Yeah? Are you with me? Are you still there? So you have to understand that I'm working with a really old a really old phone, like so old. Because if you haven't picked it up by now, they've stolen everything from me. You know, because they're just not going to stop, are they? They're not going to stop. So there's little glitches in the programming here because this is a 2017 phone and it's, you know, it doesn't function the way it should function. So I'm going to upload this to my social media accounts. Now, it's your job. I'm also going to link this document to the video. So it's your job to go in and you hit the blue links. And the blue links are going to teach you the truth. You get it? So common law supersedes all legal fiction. Okay, so that's the court of the peculiar people. Those are how we roll. If you haven't been into that document, please look at it because that's how you run the court for the people. And that court has jurisdiction over the humans. And it's so freeing to read it because there's no lies being told. You got no witches in that room. There's no injustice performed. There's no fucking sleight of hand. There's no lies told. A full investigation has to be done. The judge is not allowed to give their opinion. There is no opinion in the common law high court. There's no opinion ever issued in a common law high court. Your opinion is fucking irrelevant. You get it? So, Victoria the Trustee's Right of Survivorship. Now, that's a document that I wrote last year about, you know, I'm naming names. I've got faces there for you to see. You can contact these fucking animals and ask them what the fuck they've done. You really should, by the way. You got to put pressure on these pigs, eh? You got to put crushing pressure on them. Because they're doing this twice a week. This shit's going down twice a week. I can survive it because I understand. But what about those who don't understand? Right, that's why this has to be stopped, like full fucking stop, like right the fuck now. September 2nd, 2022, PSA. That one's filled with, you want to go in there. You need to know what's going on here. There's some very, very evil stuff happening around you in secret. And it's my job to bring what's in the secret out into the light. So I do thousands of hours of research. It's just the king and I. He's jealous for me, right? Because I'm, you have to be, when you're one of the elect, when you're one of the chosen, you're chosen that way because you're a top gun, right? You're a maverick. You're a leader. You're supposed to show society how it's supposed to go. You can't be a part of it. You have to be outside of it. You understand? So August 25th, 2022, PSA. These are public servants announcement. That's what that means, by the way, if you're not sure what PSA is. A PSA is a public service announcement. It's like an emergency kind of a situation where you need to go in there and see what's going on. And there's links inside every document I write. So open them up. Open them up and read them. If you're not aware of what's going on around you, you're part of the problem and not part of the solution. And you do not want to be part of the problem. Trust me on that. You don't want to be part of the problem. You need to be part of the solution because evil has now dialed right the fuck out of control. Like right out of control. The fucking world's gone full retard. For those of you who don't understand what's happening around you. If you're comfortable in this world, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you. If you're comfortable in this world. You better not be comfortable in this world. That means you've gelled with this level of hell. Understand? Because I'm not going to let them get it. I mean, this is what happens when you're a child of the devil. You overplay your hand. They thought they could murder me with the first act of genocide. Forced adoption's an act of genocide for those of you who don't understand the legal rules. And now they just did it to me again. Starting in September 2018, the first letter came down, if you're familiar with the documents I've written for you, so you can understand what's happening. And you fucking better believe that fucking bank is going to pay that $3.7 billion because... Fuck, do I need to take you into this thing and fucking show you what the fuck is going on here? Oh, God. Well, I'm worried about you being so lazy that you're not going to go and do your due diligence and you're not going to open up these PSAs. Because in the PSAs are documents that I wrote and I took into the whorehouse. Because I fought for an injunction. Now, do you know why you fight for an injunction? You fight for an injunction because if they do what they're going to do, there's no amount of money that can undo the damage. That's why you fight for an injunction, and I was right when I fought for the injunction. I was right. Right? That's why. See, listen to me. When something like this is happening to me, my main concern is this is happening to somebody else. Like, am I the only one experiencing this? So I go in and I do all this research, and lo and behold, fuck no. You got mortgage fraud happening in Canada twice a week, and that crime has now surpassed 100 million in fraud. What are you doing about it? No, I'm serious. I'm asking you a question, and you better have a fucking answer. Right? Because you got a problem here with an identifiable group in the province who are only about one thing. Right? Mammon. Leviathan. Worshipping the dragon. I know, I used to date one. For years. Did you go in and check out that conversation I had with this fucking asshole? You see, and that conversation is case in point why I do not fucking associate with fucking these witches with association to the bar. Fucker didn't have a clue. Not a fucking clue. Oh, there's its clients there. Popham Holdings. By the way, I found out some information the other day that Scotiabank and CIBC are the same thing. They're the same fucking thing. So isn't it interesting that CIBC stole my house and now Scotiabank is now they're making money fraudulently every fucking month, taking a mortgage payment on my stolen property. Coincidence? Fuck no. Nope. Sorry, I gotta kind of go slow because like I say, see this thing is still kind of spinning and downloading. Oh, here we go. Look at this. This is the first letter coming down September 28th. I explained that to you, didn't I? That fucking like this fuck. In the first fucking paragraph, fuckface has completely fucked himself. Fuckface has fucked himself. Your loan? I don't have a loan with CIBC. What the fuck are you talking about? Line number 2, automatic withdrawals from your account. What account is that? I don't have an account. They've been canceled. So are you telling me that there was automatic payments coming out of an account to cover what you call a mortgage, and you shut them down? Well, what authority did you have to do that? You see what I'm talking about? You see how fucking stupid they are? You see how fucking stupid they are? Like, just fucking like, oh, okay. Here's fucking Graham Mack. This motherfucker is going to be going to jail for the rest of its life. The fucking satanic spawn he just produced with that witch of his, that thing is going to be fucking taken into custody and fucking put up for fucking adoption. Oh, look, here's a witch here. That's a demon right there. That's a male demon. Guilty of money laundering. And again, right, you have all these fucking legal rules, but apparently the legal rules that they write don't apply to them. Oh, they do now. Like I told you, if you've had a crime committed against you, you are the prosecutor of the crime. You don't hand that job over to anybody else. That's your responsibility. Right? You don't hand that over to... Because you see what happens when you do. Right? No justice is ever served. Because these fucking circus monkeys don't understand anything. So you heard that conversation that I have with Greer Jacks, right? There's a fucking witch at the BC Law Society lying that I file vexatious, frivolous, without merit suits. No, I don't. I would never do something like that. Ever. Ever. I'm not a fucking liar. I know exactly what the fuck is going on. I know who's caused me harm, and I know why they need to pay what they need to fucking pay. There's a doctor that got attacked in one of the whorehouses here in Vancouver. Oh, look, what are they wearing? What are they wearing? No coincidence that they're wearing that garbage. Oh, look, there's another sicko. Oh, look, here's a murder here. This is this fucker here, right here, getting guilty of genocide. Anyway, you're going to get to listen to that fucking satanic ritual because I'm going to pick up the hearing recordings. Because if you do enough research, you know that they'll change those recordings. That's why you can't record in there. They own the recorder. They will erase what they've said to you and speak something else over top of it. They do the same in trial transcripts, by the way. You can buy those. The witch who jacked you, who you're trying to now hold accountable, they'll go in there and they'll redact stuff, or they'll just tell you can't even have it. Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, let's look at the injunction here, because I fought for an injunction. Can I open a document in a document? Let's see here. Is my phone fried? And now it won't let me open that. Is the link broken? Because it shouldn't be. Because I went in there and I tried to get... Let's see if I can hit one of these. So what I'll do when I upload this PSA, you got to read the injunction that I fought for. Come on. Because I was right. And if they didn't grant me the injunction, there's no amount of money can fix. They've destroyed my property completely. They've destroyed my life. They destroyed my property. That's why I had to be granted the injunction, because I was right. There were matters to be tried. This is a private family matter. You can't come in and fucking steal my house. You can't do that to anybody in Canada, but you're going to do it to me? And then you're going to fucking steal all the money? And then you're going to pretend like you can just fucking ride off into the sunset? Ooh, bad idea. Yeah, these two here. This Bailey and this fucking Maggot Murray. You're going to get to hear how they spoke to me. It's absolutely, it's sickening. It'll make you puke when you hear it. How I was talked to and treated. Because I was right. But what happens, because I'm one of the living, right? Because I spend so much time with the king, I get sharper and sharper and sharper and sharper. So back then, you have to understand, I'm trying to survive another act of genocide, so I'm right, but I don't have it quite perfect, but I know I'm right, but I'm still a little bit off. Do you know what I mean? But the injunction had to be granted. It did. Because it's not about the money, is it? It's about you destroyed a property. You destroyed an inheritance. I couldn't take most of my personal property out of the house because they wouldn't give me any money to do so. That's an act of mischief. Now, the punishment for mischief in Canada is life imprisonment. So, I mean, how many times do I need to tell you that they're all going to jail for life and they're not above the law? Nobody's above the law. And the other thing is they didn't have any jurisdiction. They never had any jurisdiction because it's a private family matter. There's a contract in place. You can't fucking go and dismantle a fucking contract. But they didn't care. Notice this thing's wearing fucking black? Yeah, that thing is just foul as fuck. So look at this. Emily Bailey at that time was working for Cox Taylor. Well, she doesn't work there anymore. Sorry, that thing doesn't work there anymore now. It works for in-house counsel at BC Pension Corporation. Is that right? Is that right? Well, I hope you two fucking enjoy your lives in jail. Because that's where you're both going. And by the way, since these crimes have already been committed, where I come from, it goes right from the criminal charges are laid, and then it moves right to the sentence. Because there's no defense for what they've done. Like, there's no how are you going to defend it? You can't defend it. So in the common law high court, it goes right from fucking the criminal charge right to the sentencing. Because we don't fucking dick around with fucking arguing and going around in delays and fucking this, that, and the third. Oh, fuck, I don't think so. What kind of fucking stupid is that? You didn't follow any of the legal rules. You didn't follow any of the lawful rules. You're just right fucking lawless. You're right lawless. So what value could you possibly have? Because how about I do that to you two? How about I do what you did to me to the two of you, and let's see what would happen. And now, for the last year, I've been fucking violently, viciously attacked repeatedly by fucking pigs acting as fucking Saanich, fucking apparent law enforcement. What the fuck do they know about the law? They don't. You don't go to pig school in Canada and learn anything about the law. You learn how to fucking be a torture. And to jack everybody around you for money they don't owe you. They're there to collect revenue. That's the only thing they're there to do. Collect revenue. Because they have to be paid, right? They have pensions, flex days, medical, dental. There's an insurance fund because they're never held to account, right? The insurance company pays out for the damage they do, which is just utter bullshit. That's why they have no fear of causing harm to another. Where I come from, what you did to me is taken out of your personal property. So if you destroyed my personal property, your personal property will be destroyed. I don't fucking associate with fucking insurance companies, and I don't associate with the dead. And what I mean by that are bar members. Because they're all dead. If you've ever spoken to one, or heard one speak, you know you're listening to one of the dead. You know you're listening to a weed. They have no life in them at all. Their minds just literally fucking spin on stupid, and they don't stop spinning on stupid. Because their mind is filled with vomit and fecal matter, and that just spins around like the wash cycle in a washing machine. Yep. Living men and women, they have something of value to say. Right? You're going to learn something. And if there's a mustard seed of truth anywhere in you, you're going to want to keep listening. Because it's comforting to listen to the truth if you're of the truth. It's comforting to listen to it. Or at least it should be. Do you understand? Anyway, these are never fun for me, but always look forward to your comments. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate you being here with me. Appreciate you looking at what's happening. Because I'm not the only one this is happening to, right? So we need to do something to stop this. We need to do it together. There's power in numbers. There's power in force. There's power in righteous force. And yes, if I have to fight alone, I will continue to do so. I'm not going to fold like a fucking card table. I've been through 50 years of fucking hell. 50 years of it. I mean, how do you think you get this strong? How do you think you get this strong? This is not my first fucking rodeo, okay? Not my first rodeo. But they're fucked. I can guarantee you they're fucked because I know who I am and I know what I am. So these whorehouses trying to pass themselves off as courthouses, they better fucking start shaking. Like shaking. Because it's enough is enough is enough. The child trafficking, that's enough. The fucking stealing widows' homes and destroying their entire lives, fucking so Asians can launder money, that's enough. It's enough. It's fucking enough. Nobody is above the law. I don't care who the fuck you are. You're not above the law. And neither are these fucking circus monkeys acting as Victoria or Saanich fucking a supposed law enforcement. You're not above the law either. You want to come and attack me after I report crime to you? But you fucking protect the fucking pukes who did this to me? You are mentally fucking ill. You are a danger to the community and to yourselves, and you will be removed. I don't need to hear recommendations from anybody else. If you've committed the crime of torture against me and mischief to keep me off my property,